you're an ADA holder, that chart is nice. We see green candles. We go to the daily chart and we can just see a 15% green candle. The move is important. We're going to talk about in this video what this means in the short term, what it means in the longer term, and why it is important on the macro scheme of things, why it's important for this bear market. I want to just put this out there real quick. Let's reel in emotions. It's a green candle. It's a green candle in the middle of a bear market. We've been here before. It doesn't mean we're going to see these parabolic gains into the next bull market in the next month. At least that is my view. This is how I see things. This is how I see the charts. So this is the daily chart. And before we even dive into what this means and the move that's happening right now, I just want to go over a couple things. This is a recent article. The number of transactions, average number of transactions per block, and 24-hour address activity are all on the rise, seeming to be in an uptrend. And this is an article. Cardano is in the midst of network activity, bull run, and daily transactions. Here's why. And we're in a bear market, and I just really enjoy when I'm invested in a crypto and we're in a bear market and it's down and Cardano is down, ADA is down, and a lot of altcoins are down in a very similar fashion. It's not like it's just failing, but I really enjoy holding altcoins and cryptos that fundamentally are growing and setting that foundation for the next bull market. And we talk about that all the time with Cardano. Cardano daily NFT volume sets new all-time high at 4 million ADA. Data shows the total volume of the Cardano-based NFTs has reached a new all-time high after surging up more than 300% in the last 10 days. Again, fundamentals, growth on the network happening in a bear market. I did a video the other day, something special is coming, covering a tweet by Charles that he mentioned something special coming for November. You know, that's in play right now too. So all of these things happening. It's nice to see a daily move for Cardano. This is a 6-hour chart, and actually we'll start here. And I want to show a very important clip. It's such an important clip since this is a very much technical analysis video. I want to set the stage here. Check this out, just from October 23rd, 2 days ago. So this is bullish divergence. And any time that we see something like this happen on a 6-hour, a daily, a weekly chart, it's important, at least for me, to kind of raise an eyebrow and start watching for some type of breakout. And this is so that's not me patting my back, everybody. That's not what I'm doing here. But it excites me so much. And I've been covering technical analysis on this channel for almost 5 years. And it excites me so much time and time again. These things, they just happen. They oftentimes take patience, and this game of crypto will teach us all patience. But time and time again, these things happen, and they prepare me mentally. And that's all I do it for. I don't do it for predictions. I don't do it for any other reason than to anticipate and visualize these things happening. And the tools that we have, these signals that set up, they allow that so often. I want to just say, it doesn't mean it always happens, right? A lot of times we see broken patterns and we just see signals that don't happen, but these things happen so often. There is the breakout right after bullish divergence. We've seen it again on this chart, and we've seen it previously on this chart. And we were talking about that in that last video back in August, a very similar move. So we got this breakout. The reason why it's so important, and I'm not going to make you watch another clip, but in that same video, we were talking about this move. This is the main move that we've been waiting for. And really, this is months in the making. That was us discussing the pullback, right? The pullback move. And how often do we discuss pullbacks on these charts? So here's ADA on the daily chart. And I say months in the making because this triangle goes all the way back here to May. We're talking spring of 2022, everybody. And we've just been through the ringer. We've been on this volatile roller coaster of emotions for crypto in general, but namely for Cardano on this chart as it just consolidates sideways and we get gains, and then we get just these big breaks to the downside. Most recently, don't forget it, we actually broke through the lower trend line of the triangle, right? This was the end of September, not even a month ago. Came back up, tested the trend line like we'd like to see. Resistance, that's a confirmation signal for a move to the downside. We got the move to the downside, and we're tracking, and we've been waiting for this potential pullback. And right now, in my view, it is happening, right? So now is when we start watching for that next signal. We're looking for some type of confirmation. And we discussed this in the video the other day. We discussed, all right, we get a pullback, and obviously we're discussing the pullback to the trend line, the lower trend line. And we're talking about, well, if there's a pullback, and what we want to see for a bullish confirmation is ADA breaking into the apex of the triangle. But somebody that's a more conservative trader that maybe want to short, what they'd be looking for is resistance here. Now, what we have going on here isn't just the lower trend line of the triangle. We have these moving averages, which are incredibly important, and these really have been defining this entire bear market for Cardano. What I mean by that is if you just look, it's just been time and time again, Cardano ADA just failing at the 20, failing at the 50, failing to stay above. When we did break it, we'd always look for, is there support and a bounce continuation? It just failed over and over and over again for over a year. And here is where we are, right? It's just the same repetitive move. Cardano ADA making a move back to the moving averages, as often we see, and we start tracking that game once again. Well, what happens at those moving averages? Is there resistance, right? So first things first, 20-day moving average got broken right around 38 cents. That's good. 50-day moving average has not even been touched yet. That sits right around 42, right around 43 cents for ADA on this chart. It's a couple cents of where it is right now. So my first thing that I'm watching for, obviously we want to see it get to that trend line, but that resistance is right below the trend line, the 50-day moving average. So what I'd be watching for ADA in the short term is, okay, there's 5 hours left of this daily candle. Is it even going to make it to the 50-day moving average today? And if it does, what does the next daily candle look like? How does it interact with the 50-day? Or if this gap stays here and ADA doesn't reach the 50-day moving average, this 50-day is going to get kind of pulled down as ADA does whatever it's doing, whether it comes down a little, if it's just sideways. We're going to see if there's resistance at the 50-day moving average. So that's the first area of resistance on the shorter term I'm watching. It's 43 cents. We have this lower trend line. Obviously, we would like to see Cardano hit 44 to 45 cents because then we're talking about, all right, not only are we getting the pullback, which is commonplace, and the pullback is there, in my view. We got that move. Got the pullback to the moving averages that are just below, specifically the 50-day below this lower trend line. But then we're just going to be waiting and seeing, well, if we can make it, if ADA can make it, and this would probably be off the back of S&P 500 continuing, right? This chart is green right now. This is a daily chart. So traditional markets, the stock market, they're up, right, in the last week or so. So if that continues, and Bitcoin continues. Bitcoin had its own breakout out of this upper trend line, this consolidation pattern. If these bullish moves continue, then likely we are to see ADA continue into the apex of this triangle. But even still, check this out. From where it is right now to get to that upper trend line, we're still a 20% move, 21% move. So ultimately, for a hopium-filled ADA holder, we would want to see a busted pattern here, right? Which is fake breakout to the downside, the pullback to the apex, and the breakout to the upside. I'm not so sure that's in play. I think, and I've been saying this time and time again, I really think the bear market's not over, and I could be extremely wrong about it. The bottom could be in, everybody. I could be very wrong, but it's just my opinion. It's just what I'm sharing. And so I tend to just sit on the fence as these things happen. I enjoy the green candles, but I just know we get them often, even in bear markets. And so we have a lot that is ahead, a lot of resistance that is ahead for ADA, 20% to the upper trend line. And then even if it did just break out and go crazy, we still have the potential for a throwback, and it has to test this triangle once again. That potentially could be in play. And you see how this extends all the way. This could be a month move, just playing with our emotions once again. And that's why I sit here, and it's why I do these videos, everybody, because though it's speculative what I'm charting on this chart, it is so common that these moves take a while and they just really put us through the test. And we have to be on our game mentally to prepare. So this is what I'm watching on the short term. Can ADA get to the trend line, right? So we're talking 44, 45 cents, and then ultimately the 50-day moving average around 43 cents. What happens there? I'm just kind of watching. I enjoy the gains. I enjoy the fundamentals growing. A chart that I really like is actually the zoomed out weekly, and I really enjoy taking this bars pattern and just going that last bull market high to the bear market low. I like speculatively dragging this over. Obviously, we stretch it out, we move it down a little bit for, speed and, the aggressiveness of the move. But I really like messing around with this to give me a visualization of what could still be in store, right? And so what if it's something like this? And you can just see on this bars pattern, ADA maybe just kind of tests the triangle apex a little bit, and then just markets kind of see resistance, and then there's the capitulation, right? What if it's something like that? What if it's something like that, but not the exact time frame? So I really like doing that. And in bear markets, it's just generally my personality. I like to anticipate bear market moves until I have more macro confirmations from the technical analysis and data that I gather that tells me, hey, now I have more of a confidence that the bottom is in. So I'm waiting for that, and then obviously tracking the story on the short term, because it is important. These moves are important, but I think we should all reel it in, reel the emotions in, enjoy the gains because they're there, and ultimately, even if markets were to go down in a month and bottom even more, this move right here is important. It acts as a cushion, right? It gives ADA more room to the downside to finally bottom out if that's going to happen. But again, we track it together, we see together. I appreciate all of you out there. Hit the subscribe, hit the